Hi guys and welcome back. Today I want to talk about a topic that is probably the most important at the moment when you have to understand if the price of a certain token is good or not. And I'm talking about tokenomics. Tokenomics, that is the kind of trigger that can bring to success a project, but it can also kill it. And I will show you several different examples of projects and how their tokenomic could be something positive or negative into the present, but also into the long term. So stay tuned because the topic is quite interesting and absolutely important. Just before to start, guys, remember that this channel is about educational content and nothing has to be intended as financial advice. If you want to invest in anything, that's great, but do always your research before. And I'm not saying just because I have to, but because this market is changing so fast and each person it has its own profile risk. So you have to adapt your strategy to your own portfolio and to your own ability to manage the risk. And guys, if you enjoy this content, remember to leave a big thumbs up and drop a comment. It is just a small effort for you, but really means a lot, can really help us to grow and to support the channel. And guys, don't forget to check also our all new links into the description below, because as you have seen, we have gone from DeFi Daily to DeFi Talks, and a lot has changed. You can find us on Twitter with everyday 10 top stories about cryptos and DeFi, and also our weekly newsletter where we publish the latest analysis about DeFi and cryptos. Okay, let's start talking about tokenomics. First of all, what does it mean, tokenomics? On one side, it means the release schedule. So it means, like, for example, this is also tokenomics. This is representing the liquid supply curve. So how many tokens will be released according to the time. So if a token has some kind of vesting schedule, obviously it will be released linearly or with some kind of cliff during the time. But on the other side, tokenomics, it also means how the tokens are distributed and what are the use cases. I want to start with the use cases because probably it is the most important part. If a token it doesn't have a use case that is valuable, people will simply not buy it. So there is no way for that token, for that cryptos to have a high price. I want to start with one of the most famous cryptos, and it is obviously Ethereum. The reason why Ethereum is valuable is because it is used to pay transaction fees. Not to mention that Ethereum, it is so big at this point that has also other use cases like the ability to retain value, to protect you against other assets, has been used as a base asset, so for example as an exit liquidity. So it has many different use cases, but the ones that I want to focus right now, it is just to pay fees, gas fees. But there are many other use cases. For example, in the case of Uniswap, the main use case on Uniswap is governance. We have heard many times about tokens, about projects that are saying, guys, we are giving away, we are airdropping our token. Our token, it has value because it will allow you to participate to the governance process. Okay, governance, it is something that is beautiful because into a decentralized world, participating to the governance through a decentralized process, it is something that is gorgeous. But on the other side, we have still to remember that just saying that the value, that the token has value because it gives you the opportunity to participate to the governance, it's not enough, because the token has value not because it gives you the opportunity to participate to the governance, but because that governance, it is able to influence decision about a lot of money, because the protocol that you can govern through your tokens, it is managing a lot of cryptos, a lot of money, and it has a lot of power. Because remember, a token, it has value only if it is able to exercite some kind of power, if it is giving you some advantage. For example, in the case of Uniswap, we are talking about one of the protocols with the highest total value locked. I want to add a specific thing about Uniswap. because I don't want to create the confusion that, for example, Uniswap, as you can see from this chart, it has been able to generate one of the highest fees into the industry. The point is that these fees are not going to the people that are staking the Uni tokens, but will go only to people that are providing liquidity, so LP holders. There is a governance proposal here that is proposing to change slightly the way that fees are redistributed. But in any case, they will not go to people that are staking the Uni token. So that's something that is really important. Compared to other DEXs, that on the other side, they are not giving all the fees only to LP providers, but they are giving fees also to people that are staking the governance token. So in this case, the governance token will not only have the ability to participate to the governance process, but also to receive some yield that is coming from the fees. Through this proposal, they are just changing the way that the fees are distributed in order to have some treasury and so on, but nothing that is related directly with the tokenomics. Another example is coming from GMX. GMX is a perpetual exchange, so it is giving the opportunity to the people to trade different assets with leverage. And as you can see from this chart, these are the revenues that are generated through that protocol. As you can see, the number of transactions is increasing, or at least it is still quite high, even if at this point we are into a bear market. And the reason is because there is a lot of hype around this protocol. How does it work? It works that fees are distributed among two different categories: people that are providing liquidity and people that are staking the GMX token. So also the GMX token is receiving part, at least just a small part, of the fees collected from the protocol. On the other side, and this is the example that I want to just focus a little bit more, because there has been a lot of discussions about the Cure Finance model and all the layers that has been built on top of it. I'm talking about Convex, Yearn Finance, and so on. And this kind of model has been also used on other blockchains. For example, Velodrome is using a similar model, and all the story about vested escrow token. And many people are just thinking that this is the way to solve all the problems related to the tokenomics. Unfortunately, or at least that's just my personal opinion, I don't think that this is the solution. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely think that this model is great, and it is sustainable into the short term and probably even into the medium term. When I'm saying medium term, I mean that this model can survive even 1 year, 2 years, and so on. But it's not the solution, because how does it work? It has a token, the Cure token, that is an inflationary token. So it is rewarding people that are adding liquidity into the protocol. In order to make it sustainable and not having just inflation, it is giving people, so protocols, the ability to choose how much they want to incentivize a specific pool. In this way, protocols are having an interest to hold the token and to lock it into the protocol in order to having the power to vote for the incentive to their own pools. And this is great. At least in this phase, most of the protocols are just locking the tokens for 4 years. So for this period, they will not have this kind of amount available. So there is not that kind of selling pressure. The point is that at a certain point, we will have big whales that they will have so much power. Not so much power just to decide which pool should be incentivized, but so much power that if for any reason they decide to sell their tokens, they can literally crash the system. And this is obviously something that is not good. Until now, we are still talking about small protocols and an amount of money that is not so big, and most of the tokens are locked. But there will be a day when the tokens will be unlocked and when the amount of circulating supply will be so big that can generate a lot of pressure, a lot of selling pressure that can push the price down. I don't think that just inflating a token, just releasing tokens during the time. I know that the inflation is going down and everything has been planned into the long term. I know that many protocols are starting to enter into this war in order to acquire the Curve token, so the demand is still growing. The point is that this DeFi space is changing so fast, and the interest to develop some kind of other way, other protocols that are able to deploy the liquidity in a more efficient way, because to be fair, it's not so efficient the way that Curve is working. Yes, it is allowing us to swap token in a really efficient way and so on, but the reality is that we have billions locked into the Curve protocol with no other use case, and that's something that is not sustainable into the long term. With any probability, we can build another layer on top of this layer in order to use the liquidity that is right now locked. I'm saying this not because I'm thinking that Curve or Convex are bad protocols. I'm just thinking that we have a lot of space to grow, to develop other solutions that will enable us to increase the yield that we can get and to have more efficient ways to manage swaps, and on the other side, maximizing the composability of the different assets that are locked inside the protocol. So I think that the tokenomics, like the ones that has been proposed by Curve, so everything around vested escrow token, it is great and it is perfect for this market condition, for this situation, and it can last even for a couple of years. But I don't think that is the definitive solution. I think that we will see also in the future some kind of use case for the vested escrow token, because obviously if you can give advantage to people just locking tokens, that's great, that's perfect. But on the other side, I think that we will evolve this model. Maybe also Curve, with all the partners that are working on top of Curve, will evolve their model by themselves. So it doesn't mean that Curve has to fail. It simply means, at least in my opinion, but feel free to disagree, that this model that is based on inflating the Curve token in order to give a power to vote inside Curve to other people, I don't think that is the solution. I think that is one solution that is good right now, but it will evolve during the time. So let's go back. We have a tokenomics, so tokens that are having as a use case governance. We are having tokens that are giving you the ability to receive some yield, for example, GMX or other protocols. We are having tokens that are using the Curve model, so they are using the vested escrow model, that are locked in order to give you the power to vote. And finally, we have also utility tokens. A utility token is a token that gives you some kind of advantage. Could be a boost in terms of APY, could be accessing some kind of advanced dashboard. It could be receiving some premium service, could be receiving support, could be everything you want. Because remember, utility token is just something that is saying, okay, you have enough resources staked, locked, in order to unlock some kind of privileges. And this is something that is great. We will see many protocols that will try to evolve, they will try to offer premium services and any kind of other service that is that is using some token that you have to stake, that you have to deposit inside their protocol. The main thing that I want to make clear is that you have to remember that it's not just the label, a utility token, governance token, receiving some kind of APY that is giving value to the token. The value is given by the real utility, the real traction that is able to generate, and the real value that is generating for the users. Another thing that is really important to understand when we talk about tokenomics is the release schedule. The release schedule is something that you can find, for example, on Messari, and it is called on Messari liquid supply curve. This is an information that you can find for many different assets. For example, in this case, we are having a Solana, but we can check it also for NEAR. Just select the asset that you are interested in, go to Profile, Tokenomics, and Supply Schedule. And here you will see the release during the time. As you can see, the maximum supply will be reached around the 2025. So this is something that is important, because remember, each time that there is a big unlock, it means that people are finally receiving their tokens. Maybe they bought that privilege into the past, in the moment when the price was much lower. So it means that they are set on a big profit. And that's possible that in that moment they will decide to sell their tokens. And when we talk about tokenomics, understanding who is the holder, who are the holders, and when they will have the availability of their tokens, it is something that is really important. We have seen also many protocols that are financing, that are funding their project using their own tokens. And that's something that you should take in account, because if their same team is selling their tokens just to fund the project, the development, it is obviously not good for the price, for the simple reason that if they are selling just to collect money to support the development, it means that the price will go down. It means that someone else has to buy their tokens. Otherwise, the price is simply going every day lower. So that's something really important. From one side, you have to understand the utility cases. On the other side, even if the cases are great, you need to understand what is the unlock period, who will receive these tokens, at which price, and what will be the possible selling pressure that can crash a project. That's the reason why many times we have said that when we talk about DeFi, most of the protocols that right now are quite famous, it is possible that at the end of the bear market, they will simply be dead. Why? Because if they don't have enough money behind due to some VC, it is possible that they have to sell their own tokens. The point is that in this moment, the token has already a price that is 80%, 90%, 95%, 99% in some case below the all-time high. So it means that it's necessary to sell much more tokens. And if this kind of selling pressure is going on, at a certain point, there will be no buying pressure. And if there is no buying pressure, the price will simply go down, go to zero. And even if the team is selling their own tokens, they will not be able to collect enough resources to support the development. So that's something that you have to take in account. It doesn't matter how good is the team. It doesn't matter how good was the price into the past. What it matters is what is the utility case for that token, who are the people that are holding it, if the team that is behind is using these tokens to fund the project, and when are the major unlocking days. And this is something that you can check, for example, from Asari. You can ask into the community of the project you are following. And remember, if you want to invest in something, this is the kind of information that you need to know in order to take the best decision. Guys, let me know what you think about tokenomics. Let me know what is your favorite project when we are talking about building a great tokenomics. Don't forget, guys, to leave us a big thumbs up and drop a comment if you enjoy this content. Plus, don't forget to check all our new links. You can find them into the description below. We have a Twitter account with every day the top 10 stories and news about cryptos and DeFi. Plus, we have also launched our newsletter, weekly newsletter with some new analysis and some information that you can find useful to better invest and to better understand this market. Guys, thank you for following me, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.